What's up, YouTube, and welcome back. Today we're doing something a little different. We're actually going to do a video on how to package and ship your cards properly. I see questions all the time, especially on these Facebook groups that I'm in, where people are asking, how do you ship cards properly? How do you ship cards properly? And then I see people giving advice, and 9 times out of 10, it's usually bad advice, or at least in my opinion. Now, there are several ways to ship a card properly without it getting damaged. But these are the ways that I've found most effective. I've shipped well over 1,000 cards on eBay, never once had a single card come back damaged. I have had a few of the plain white envelopes say that they ended up showing up missing, or not showing up at all, I guess, but never had anything get damaged. Even a plain white envelope, never once. Now, what prompted this video was very, very poor shipping practices on a couple packages I received recently, and these were actually packages I purchased from the same seller on Facebook, which is another reason why I stay away from purchasing on Facebook most of the time. Honestly, you're going to get about 20% more for your cards on eBay because there's a much larger market of customers there on eBay. So the excuse of, oh, I'm avoiding fees by selling on Facebook is really just that. To me, at least, it seems like an excuse. There are some very legitimate sellers on Facebook. There are some people who I've done some very good business with, and they know how to ship cards properly. A lot of the people who are selling on Facebook, though, are there because they could not hack it on eBay. And they ship cards like this, and they come into you damaged like this. Like, I don't know if you can see these. These were in these packages. You got a Von Miller with a nice crease at the bottom of the rookie. Seriously messed up Nick Chubb there. A Miles Sanders with a giant crease running down the center, along with a giant dented up corner here. So, shipping cards improperly is a good way to tear them up and make them, these are good for, let's see, Miles Sanders, Ninja Star, Nick Chubb, Ninja Star, and a Von Miller Ninja Star. So that's about all those cards are good for at this point, and that's what happens when you ship cards improperly. So did want to do this for you, and I'll go through it kind of quick here. Most of what I'm shipping these days is in a bubble mailer. That is strictly because in order to become a top-rated seller on eBay, you have to have tracking. So in my main store, if you've never visited the channel before, you probably have already seen the store linked in every video below before. And in my main store, all of them are $4 shipping, and I ship everything in a bubble mailer with tracking. And it's free combined shipping, so you can order 100 cards, it's still going to be $4. So if you want to check that out, check out that store. I also do have another eBay store that I don't really advertise as much, where I do all plain white envelope shipping. Eventually, now that I just got my top rated badge on this store, this one will probably go more towards higher end cards. This store will go towards lower end cards, things that are $10 and less, to where if someone says that they didn't get the card, I don't even mind refunding them the money, just call it a day. The difference in cost in shipping for 50 cents or 55 cents versus $2.70, $3, whatever, I can afford to lose quite a few cards. And even then, only about 1% of the people claim that they don't get it. And probably about half of those are lying, but what can you do? But anyway, so we'll go ahead and show you exactly how you should ship a card. We'll start with the plain white envelope because this is the one that I see most commonly misexplained. Almost every video I found on YouTube, every suggestion I ever hear on Facebook is extremely commonly wrong. So there's a couple different ways to do it. And we're going to show you with this Saquon Barkley rated rookie, we're just going to stuff it in. First and foremost, if you're shipping any kind of card, it should always be in a penny sleeve. And that's just this cheap little plastic sleeve right here. They're called penny sleeves because they cost about $1 a piece. Usually come in a package like this. And you can purchase them online in bulk. Matter of fact, I'll probably end up sticking some in my store as well. Just about all of these items you can purchase in bulk. I order my bubble mailers in bulk on Amazon. They usually come out to less than 10 cents a piece. If you buy them in Walmart, they're closer to $1 a piece. But if this is a new hobby for you, this is something you're just trying out for the first time, you might want to buy a small quantity. Otherwise, you'll end up with a gigantic pile of these because not everyone loves doing these kind of sales on eBay. It does take a lot of work. So, you might find out that it's not for you. But if you do find out that it is for you, then ordering in bulk is the way to go. Now this right here is your best friend when shipping cards. I commonly get cards all the time that have scotch tape or packaging tape on them, And that is completely wrong way to ship cards, and you'll never find anyone who will tell you that that is correct. Essentially, I'm putting all my cards in brand new top loaders because I don't want to send you junk when you get it, and then I put a piece of painter's tape on top. Now the key with painter's tape is it does not leave any kind of residue when you peel it off. So I can easily peel this off, and voila, I still have a brand new case. So when you get your card, you still have a brand new case there. I'm not leaving you with any junk. You don't have to take this card out of the case and put it into another case. You don't have to waste any more money on another case. That's how you're going to get it. It's going to work perfect. Now, a lot of people will tell you, oh, and then you need to put it in a team bag. No, that's excessive. You absolutely do not need a team bag at that point. If you're having just one card, that's all you need right there. Hard top loader and a penny sleeve and some painter's tape. After that, I usually take my cards like this and I will wrap them in a sheet of paper. Now, a lot of people do this a little bit differently. Most of the people I see tell you that you should put a piece of cardboard on each side. And that is something that I highly disagree with. And I'll tell you why. Despite the fact that you can ship cards that way, and let me grab my scissors real quick. So you absolutely can ship a card inside of cardboard, and the best advice I've seen if you're going to use cardboard is to go pick up some birthday cards from the Dollar Tree. But I've also seen several plain white envelopes where they were torn open and still delivered to me with the card inside, and without. But my biggest concern is if it's a birthday card and then they feel something rigid in there, it's probably more likely to get stolen because it seems like a gift card at that point. So I don't like to put them like that. But some people do, and if you were going to use cardboard, that's probably the best way to do it because you'd want something really thin. Now, why I tell you cardboard is a horrible idea, and most people will disagree with me on this, but when you ship a card in a plain white envelope, and if you notice here, I cut down a little bit because I'm using a smaller envelope. This isn't full size. So I cut the edge just a little bit to make sure it's all going to fit. It technically does not have to be cut. It's just my preference. But then once I actually got it folded, or tri-folded, I guess, I start folding in the ends. And I do this to kind of thicken up those ends where the card isn't. So the card starts right here, my fold ends right here. And that way, when this goes to slide through the machine, it's going to be a lot smoother sliding through that machine. There's not going to be any ridges for it to get caught on. This will give it a nice smooth slide. Now, everyone tells you you should go get these non-machinable stamps. Well, the non-machinable stamps cost more, for one. They're 85 cents as opposed to 55 for a machinable stamp. And like I said, it is a complete waste of money. You also have to go to the post office. And the idea that you need to put non-machinable on here is also kind of just a waste of time and money. So once I have the card folded up, and let me pull this back out, inside the piece of paper, just like that, I usually put one piece of Scotch tape here, one piece of Scotch tape here just to hold the flaps down, and I left my Scotch tape on my desk over there, but I'll just use the packing tape just for this example here. And we'll pretend like this was Scotch tape. So I'll just hold the flaps down like that. And all right, so it's good to go. Now it's good to go in the envelope here. Now I'll just shove this in the envelope. Peel, seal. I usually put one piece of Scotch tape across here. And of course tape everything on the front. Now, this just looks like a regular envelope. There's no real things for it to slide through. And I think what most people miss is when you're doing plain white envelopes, it only ships up to a 1/4 inch in the machine. So if you're not familiar with measurements, I did construction for a long time, so 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 1/16 inch, all that comes second nature to me. I can just look and tell you whether or not it's a 1/4 inch. But I brought in the tape measure just so y'all could see. You know, a 1/4 inch is literally just 1/4 of an inch, and you can see that mark. But if you look here, you can see that this envelope by itself is less than, less than 1/8 of an inch. And I'm not sure if that's showing up on the camera there, but it's less than 1/8 of an inch. So when you start putting cardboard in there, you're actually making the package thicker. You're making it closer to 1/4 of an inch, making it a lot more likely to get caught in the machine. So if you're going to put cardboard in there, you do have to go to the non-machinable. But the cardboard is absolutely not needed. It's a complete waste of time, complete waste of money. Your card is cardboard. It's not protecting anything, and literally never had a single card damaged like this. And I have shipped countless cards in a top loader and a plain white envelope. Never one get damaged. So for those of you who are using the non-machinable, for those of you who are using cardboard, in my opinion, it's a completely unneeded step. You can avoid that altogether, and you will just save yourself a lot of time and hassle and a lot of extra shipping there. So now that we got the plain white envelope out of the way, understand that one card in a plain white envelope with a sheet of paper is always under 1 ounce. If you add a second card, I usually do jump up to this, and when I do that, I will even tape the 2 cards with painter's tape, nothing but painter's tape. Tape the 2 cards to the piece of paper that I'm folding up inside of there. That way they don't move around and stack on top of each other and get caught up in the machine. I do sometimes ship 2 cards in one plain white envelope like this. And in that case, you just have to add an extra 21 cents for the shipping. And you can purchase different stamps at the post office to kind of make up those, or you can just throw 2 stamps on it, which is what I do a lot of times just because I don't have the spare change stamps laying around sometimes. But I will go ahead and show you the bubble mailer shipping. So this is my most common way of shipping these days. This works great whether it's a graded card, whether it's just a card in the top loader, or whether it is a group of cards. So I'm going to show you one of each here and how it would be packaged. So the single will be packaged just like it would have been for the other one, and we're going to pretend like this lot here is 5 cards. These are all going to go to one person, or we're going to pretend as if they are. So I'll show you how I would do that. And stuff this Troy Aikman in here. Alright. So I see these shipped different ways all the time. And like I said, there's more than one right way to do this. But the most efficient way, in my opinion, is going to be the way that I'm going to show you here. So if we were shipping a lot of cards, 5 different cards, you know, I only feel the need to put top loaders on the 2 outside cards here. Now, a lot of people will, unfortunately, use Scotch tape. A lot of people will try and shove multiple cards into a case. I don't believe in doing that either. That's a good way to get cards damaged. Personally, I like to stack them just like that, nice and pretty. I'll stack the 3 loose cards on the top, on the bottom one there, stack the top one here, and then I'll take my painter's tape to it. So with this, I'm a little more liberal with the painter's tape than I was on the single card because, oops, sorry, using 2 hands while filming. But your top piece of painter's tape, the goal of it is always to hold the cards into the cases. You don't want to pinch too tight because it will pinch on the 2 cases there and try to bend the cards in the middle. But I like to actually put 4 pieces of tape on these. And let me get that all set up for you. So I'll put 1 here. And this might actually be probably the most excessive thing I do because I'm going to shove it in a team bag after this. But a lot of people will just shove it in a team bag. And the problem with shoving it in a team bag is it doesn't necessarily secure those cards in the middle. They can still slide around a little bit. Those corners can still get dinged up if you're just sticking it in a team bag. So this way, they're locked in. They're not moving anywhere. I can shake that around. Those cards aren't going anywhere. Then I can slide it into a team bag. Team bags are another thing you can purchase online, nice and cheap. Pull the tab, close that up. Now they're really not going anywhere. 5 cards, ready to ship. I usually have, now this is an example, I didn't want to actually show customer information, but this would be an example of the size of an eBay label. This would be the example of the size of the packing slip. Normally I will print my eBay label, turn my piece of paper around in my printer, print the packing slip on the other side, cut out my eBay label, use this to package the cards in. I take that, wrap that around the cards, shove it in one of these bubble mailers here. And these are only good for a handful of cards. If you try to do, if it's more than, I don't know, even 5 cards, or if you got some super thick cards, you're going to want to go up to a different size bubble mailer. These are the smaller ones. I think these are 6 by 8. Fold that top down, and I'll show you how to tape it off here in just a minute. But that's the basics of a 5 card mailer. So if we're just doing one card, it's going to be almost the exact same as the plain white envelope, just instead of the plain white envelope, we're going to use the bubble mailer. Now that's probably too much painter's tape right there. Really, you just want about half of that. A dab will do. So stick that on there, fold it over. That's just holding the card in place. Wrap it in the sheet of paper. Stuff it in the padded mailer. Tape your thing on. And then we'll show you the same thing with a graded card. Graded card, just wrapping the sheet of paper. Took the piece of paper out. But you're wrapping the sheet of paper, you shove it on in. Now we'll go ahead and package this this single just to show you how it goes. And with the single, fold everything down. It's Tony Gonzalez rookie. Everybody remembers Tony Gonzalez, the awesome tight end for the Chiefs and Falcons. Well, people probably forget about him now. People are paying crazy amounts of money for Travis Kelce, as if he was the Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez is. But anyways, so once it's sealed up, I like to take my, and instead of actually putting an extra piece of tape across the back, I just take my shipping label here and I position it on top. Take my tape, one piece the length of the envelope there, and I set it right on the edge, because realistically you're not supposed to tape over the barcode for the tracking. So I always put it right there on the edge. That way I'm not actually taping over the barcode. Tape it down and fold it over. And when you fold it over, it's actually holding it shut too. So it kind of cuts out that step for you, and it is putting the card in extremely safely. You'll have your tracking number, you have everything. Now, a lot of people will tell you, right, do not bend on this, or, you know, non-machinable. Well, not non-machinable on the bubble mailers, but people will tell you do not bend on this. Well, for one, post office workers aren't just picking up packages and going like this. They don't have time for that. They're not just picking up your mail and bending it for fun. I promise you, that's not what's going on at the post office. Number two, you would have to put some good force into that to actually damage that card, because it's in a top loader. Like I said, I've shipped thousands of cards this way, never had one damaged. So the idea of writing "do not bend" on it is just an extra step, and you're wasting your time, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that it hurts anything, but it doesn't help anything. You really don't need to. But I'll put the piece on all four sides to kind of hold it in place there. Fold those over, and then I usually cover up the address, just in case if it was to get rained on. Cover up their address, cover up my return address up here, and bada bing, bada boom, package is ready to go. That is the correct way, in my opinion, on how to ship a bubble mailer. Now, like I said, there's a lot of correct way to do things, many ways to shear a sheep, so to speak. This is a bigger bubble mailer. I get these free from eBay because you get a certain amount that are free with your store subscription. But I use these for bigger lots. So if I have a lot full of cards, and this is just a stack of commons, these are not even in cases, but I'll use these as an example. So if it was a big stack like this and this envelope wasn't enough, then I'd just package these the same way. There would have to be a top loader on each side. They would be shoved into a team bag after being taped up properly with only painter's tape. I cannot stress that part enough. Painter's tape. Any masking tape or scotch tape should only be on the outside of your envelope. If this is anywhere on the inside of your envelope, you are doing it wrong. Absolutely, 100%. That's the biggest thing I could stress to you. But we'll pretend as if these are already cased up and in, taped up and in a team bag, and then they would just go in that way. I would have wrapped them in a sheet of paper, fold them over twice, tear off the top one here, seal it here, tape my label on just like I did the last one, except this time I'm taping over these edges so that they stay closed, and taping over this edge so it stays closed. That works extremely well as well. And then if you are shipping something bigger, you can even go up to a priority mail package. Now, if you're shipping something like a box, like I like to ship a lot of sets in these, boxes you can pick up. BCW is a fantastic company. I use them for top loaders, for boxes. They sell bulk supplies pretty much. So they'll sell them at wholesale prices. You can go order these boxes at BCW. You'll have to Google that. I don't know the exact website name off the top of my head. I always buy them in a giant bulk order. So if you just want a couple, you might be cheaper off just going to my eBay store there. I'll probably start posting a few of these because like these bubble mailers, wow, I got them at 10 cents a piece. I think I had to order 5,000 or something of them in order to get them at that price. So if you just want to try this stuff out and you just want 50 of them, check out my eBay store. I'll throw a few in there. I think that just about covers it, guys. Biggest things to remember: no cardboard, no scotch tape, none of that inside your package. You do that, you'll be fine. Make sure that you have your cards well protected, but not excessively. When you start putting excessive tape on here, or if you use scotch tape on the outside of your team bags, or you start using so much tape on these cards that they're hard to get out, then the buyer even risks damaging them when they come in. So I get cards like this all the time, and they'll have scotch tape wrapped all the way around to make sure that nothing moves. And I'm sure that the seller is thinking that they're doing a good job in shipping these cards, but then I have to fight with trying to get it out without damaging the cards, and sometimes it can be very challenging. Painter's tape, never challenging. You peel it right off, and you still have brand new cases when you're done. So painter's tape, painter's tape, painter's tape. Do not use anything but painter's tape on the inside of your package, and just don't go excessive on it, guys. You really don't need to. There's no need for the cardboard. There's no need to tape all the way around it. Just a basic job will do. Anything more is really just asking the card to be damaged. Like I said, if it goes through and it's too thick, it's more likely that it's going to get damaged in the machine. If it goes through and the customer has a hard time opening it, they may damage the cards when they're opening it. So you do want to make sure you secure them well, but not too horribly well. You don't want to have to fight stuff to get it out. But I do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out the other videos. I'm actually doing another one tonight on some 2019-2020 basketball packs. Don't do a whole lot of basketball around here, but I've been intrigued with this year's draft class. So we'll be doing that, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and thanks, guys.